Hi, and welcome to the 222 Experience, where God reigns supreme, Jesus is King, and the Holy Spirit is my everything. I'm Tiffany, the CEO of the 222 Experience, and I'm accompanied by God, the CEO of the 222 Experience. And today's blog is God, teach me how to love you. Okay, y'all, I got this blog when I was in prayer, and I was asking God, how can I deepen my relationship with Him? How can I be more intimate with Him? And He gave me these bullet points. He told me to get your notebook, get your pen, and I'm about to tell you. So he gave me 5 things to do consistently to deepen my relationship with him, and I'm about to share them with you. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that God told me to do, and I asked him, how can I deepen my relationship with you? He said, remove your idols. And I was like, I don't serve no other God, you know? And he was like, think about the things that you put the most time into. And I started thinking about it, and the first thing I thought about was social media. And YouTube. I could be on YouTube and Instagram all day. Not so much Instagram. Lately, it's been Instagram, but YouTube for sure. YouTube for sure. And as I tally up the hours or times that I'm on it, because usually I work, when I'm working, I can watch YouTube. So I like to watch podcasts and things like that. And I'm just like, the time that I'm not feeding my spirit man with YouTube, or that I'm like not watching a sermon or not watching something that's going to push the needle forward, as far as spiritually, if I tally up those hours, I'm putting more hours into watching things on, that's a distraction, than I am putting that time into God. So, and then it's like, okay, I'm thinking of other things in my life. Like, okay, what can I not kind of like? Am I squirming in my seat about if I don't have it? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm working, do I have to have social media? Do I have to have YouTube? Do I have to look at the TV? Do I have to eat 40 times a day? Do I have to have all the beauty maintenance? I'm just throwing things out there, but if you think about the things that you latch onto and you spend a lot of time in it, and if somebody say you need to get rid of that and you cringe, it might be an idol. It might be an idol. So just take note of the things that you have going on in your life, and a lot of the things that you spend the most time on, because it can even be your job, it can even be your business. Put God in every single thing, every single aspect. Of course, you have to work hours on your business, and sometimes you cannot pray for hours, but just incorporate him. Start with, sometimes while you're doing what you're doing, stop what you're doing, and then acknowledge God. So remove all idols. To further elaborate on the idols, it also could be a husband, it could be a wife, it could be a child. If you will allow God to move in every area of your life, but you won't allow him to tell you what to do with your children could be an idol. If you put all of your time into your spouse could be an idol. If God can tell you to do something, and then you do what your spouse said do over what God told you to do, you need to check that. If you work 5 jobs, I know now in this economy, oof, I get it. I get it. But at the same time, ask God what he wants you to do with your time. He may put you in the kingdom, and you may be able to, you know, be financed through the kingdom, because that's what God wants for you. So we always have to put God first. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything that you need shall be added unto you. Okay? Okay, so make sure you remove anything that's taking up a lot of your time. Now, and that's excluding work. This is excluding, your business, because we have to work every day. Especially God bless us with jobs, you know. So I'm not saying that don't go to work because you need to spend all day long, you know. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you make it to where money is an idol and you work all day long just to get money, you need to check in with God about that, you know, because you don't want money to be, you don't want mammon to be your God. Okay. So the next one is include me on every decision, even the small ones. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I literally be in my bedroom like, God, can you help me pick out my outfit? I really do. I really do. Even the small ones. So if I'm asking him, hey, can you help me pick out my outfit, or hey, what do you think I should eat this week? Like, what should we be? You know, what should me and my son be eating this week? If I ask him about that, you know, I'm gonna ask him about what job I should take. You know, I should be asking him if I could even get a car. And if he approve of me getting a car, you know, I'm gonna ask him which car should I get, where should I get it from, where if I gotta get a loan to get it, first of all, I'm gonna ask him can he pay for it. Okay, because God is my sponsor. Okay, let's be clear about that. He is my sponsor. But you know, I'm gonna ask him about the finances for it. You know, when you make it a habit of asking God every little thing, you can't and you wait on his answer, how can you go wrong? If God is control, and that's also giving him the control. It's hard to really, girl. Let's talk about it. I got my new mic today. Let's talk about it. It's hard to release control. It is so difficult, especially when you've been taking care of everything all your life, or so you think, like God ain't been there the whole time, even though you ain't been saved. You know, he still was there keeping you. It is so hard to give up an area of your life to someone and you don't know how it's going to go. So if you start with the little things, everybody says start with the little things. Okay. If you start with the little things, then it's going to be so much easier to have him take control or have him to give you an answer about the big things. You know why? Because you're going to be like, it's practice. It's like every single day in your life, he's telling you, okay, do this, don't do that, don't eat this, eat that. You need to exercise. Don't wear that. That's tacky. You know, that's that don't represent me. You know? If he's telling you the little things and you're giving him control with the little things, when it comes to what house you should buy, if you should get that loan, if you should go with that company to finance your house through them, it's gonna be easier with the bigger things. I can only imagine Abraham not going to the city that God told him to, you know, or he didn't trust him for relocation. But then when God said, "Hey, sacrifice your son," he was gonna do that. It's you always want to start off small, okay? You always, and God will start you off small too. He'll test you with the little things to see if he can trust you with the big things, okay? But you have to decide in your mind to let go of control and to allow him to help you with the small decisions. And can I also say that if you think that you can handle the small things, you are operating in pride. Oh, I got this. I just have God to help me take care of the big stuff. I'll just pray to God for the situations that I can't fix. He wants you to come to him in the situations that you can fix. But what's the point of you having him if you're gonna do it? Oh, okay then. Let's move on to the next one. The next thing God told me to do is date me consistently. That's what he said. Those are his exact words. I want you to go on a date night with me twice a week. And then he was like, all I want to do is spend time with you. All I want to do is spend time with my children. He's so sweet. He is so sweet. So he told me, he was like, set up 2 nights, block off time just for me and you. No warring, no praying in the spirit. Set it up like it's a date at home. And I want you to come to me and we could just talk. And he's so sweet. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I am married, legally, but I am currently separated from my husband. And during this time, before our divorce, I have been asking God to be my husband. Okay. And he has not disappointed. He has not disappointed. Okay. Financially, he has taken care of me and my boy. And also intimacy, he has taken care of me. Okay. And meeting with him, I've fallen off from this lately, but I got to get back on it. But when I was meeting with him consistently 2 nights a week, he would give me deep revelation. Deep revelation. And it would give me, and also it would be a healing time for like trauma and just healing childhood wounds and just healing like things that people have said to me. He would come and say, it's not true, you are loved, I do care about you, I do care about your feelings. Because like at one point in time in my life, I would be like, I wouldn't, when God tell me to do something, even though I didn't want to do it, I would just say, well, it don't really matter how I feel about it, or yeah, like he don't care how I feel about it as long as it get done. But it's just, he will always tell me, no, I do care about how you feel. I do care about how you feel, and I would get that in our time that was set apart. And this time was not like me coming to pray, even though talking to him is prayer. It was more of conversation time with God. I would literally have my little ambience going, light a candle. I would dim the lights down, put some worship music on. I love some Isola. Okay, I love Yinka. Okay. And I will put my playlist on and put it on low, like a little date night. And I would just come in and God starts the conversation and be like, tell me what's on your heart. And I could just vent and just let it go like a therapy session. And he was my counselor. Okay. So listen, date night with God is necessary. Put aside 2 hours for a date night with God every 2 hours, 2 days out the week, every week, and watch how your intimacy with God change. Watch how your intimacy with God changes. Okay? Okay. So the last thing that God told me to do on how to love him better and how to be more intimate with him is to surrender my agenda. That was like a good punch. I was like, what? What you mean? And he was just like, the things that you want to do with your life is not my will. Shame to even say it. Yeah, all my life I wanted a dance studio secretly. I never told nobody this, but I always wanted my own dance studio. And I ain't talking about dancing for the Lord. Okay. Now, when I got saved, and I got saved 4 years ago, of course that went out the window. I was like, well, maybe I could do like a praise dance studio. And then that just literally just went out the window as I began to be obedient to God. And as he began to show me his will, I was like, dang, ain't no dancing in there. There ain't no dancing in this will, not unless I'm a praise dance in the kitchen. Because all my life I was a dancer. I was a cheerleader. I was on the praise team. I can naturally dance. Okay. And I just thought that I was going to do something with my skill. You know, I thought I was going to do something with the gift. And no, no, lay that down and come on over here. You're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. Now, this is not to say that your dream doesn't match with what God wants you to do, because it could. I'm just saying, whatever the agenda that you have, check in with God and see if it matches his will. What he has written in your book of life, see if what you got written in your book of life lines up with his plan, okay? Because mine did. All right. Okay, he was like, you're gonna get on here and do these YouTube videos, and then you're gonna do this. I'm not gonna tell you everything he told me I'm gonna be doing, but he never said nothing about dancing, child. So think about the things that you have in your mind. Like, I want to go to school for this, going to go to school for that. God might not want you to do that. God might have a better. Let me start right there. Everything that God has for you is way better than what you have for you. So instead of wasting time doing what you think is going to work, check in with him. Leave rebellion at the door. Pick up obedience and check in with him. Because sometimes we can say, I'm going to do what I want to do. That's rebellion. Sometimes we can go through with what we want to do and it continuously fail. It's because it's not in God's plan for your life. If somebody says, so for example, somebody may come up to you and say, you're going to be working with kids. And you're like, girl, I know she lied because I hate kids. You know, and then 10 years down the road, you work with kids and you love it. It's your calling. You would do it for free, but God graced you to have it as a job. You know what I mean? So think about the dreams that you have. They could be God's will for your life. They could be, but you would never know until you check in with God. Okay? God may have you as a seamstress to clothe the kingdom women in the church, to clothe kingdom women across the globe. That may be your thing. And you may have that desire already. Okay? Check in with God. God may have a desire in your heart to be a nurse. So when you do go have a patient, the patient say, can you pray for me? You may lead these patients to Jesus Christ. My grandma does it every day. My grandma went back to school after the age of 60, became a nurse, and she has led so many people to Christ right before their deaths. It's crazy. But that was God's will for her life, to be in the healthcare field. So she can grab those people before they passed away. So she can win them from the kingdom of darkness before they passed away. Do you see what I'm saying? You may not know why you want to be a nurse. You may not know why you want to be a seamstress. You may not know why, you just walk up to people in the grocery store and you just know stuff about them. You may not know that you're a prophet. You may not know. Take your agendas, place them in front of God like Hezekiah did. Those plans of people trying to do stuff to him, he took it in front of God and God handled it. Take your agenda in front of God and say, does this line up with what you want me to do? And if it does not, tell me what you want me to do. And then you have to get with God, y'all reason, and you process this thing. And then that's when obedience has to kick in. Okay? Throw rebellion out the door, pick up obedience. Okay? Okay. So that is the last one on the list of God teach me how to love you, or date night with Abba. I love the date night. That's my favorite one. Date night with God is my favorite one. It's literally like a therapy session. Y'all, please try that one. Please, please, please try that one. But that is the last one for this vlog. Okay. Okay, so if you liked it, like it. And if you want to talk about anything in the comment section, let's go. Okay, now if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, you know I want you here. Okay, so go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, because how else you gonna know? How else you gonna know if I upload it? Okay, so go ahead and handle that. And then I want you to think about somebody who can benefit from this video and then send it to them. Okay? Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is go to The222Experience.com and sign up for your prayer to anoint your home and your curse breaking prayers. Okay? Sign up for the email list. And then every Thursday, you're going to get you a little pick me up. Okay. You're going to get some little tips, hacks, tricks for prayer. Okay. That maybe you can benefit from. Okay. Now, if you know anybody who can benefit from that as well, have them to go to the222experience.com and sign up for the email list. All right. So that is all for today. And I'm going to see you guys on Friday. Bye.